Hello to you, Emanuel Shahaf.
Hello, hello.
As part of the publishing journey, you are seeing the last acts of the Israeli government, and you are saying to yourself
that the Israeli government is endangering the state of Israel.
Endangering?
Endangering materially, yes.
Wow.
Existentially.
Do you think it's something that is done on purpose?
Well, the government is doing it on purpose. It just doesn't view itself as endangering the existence of Israel. But that's what's actually happening.
Could you give me an example or two just to try to grab it, the understanding?
Well, the military action against Iranian subjects in Syria, the recent action which was directed against Iranian diplomatic mission there, caused Iran to enter the fray more than it did before, and that was to be expected. Now to get Iran to engage in a situation where we're already fighting on more than 3 fronts. We're fighting in Gaza, and we're fighting in the north, and we're fighting against the Houthis, and we're fighting in the West Bank, is really endangering Israel.
And do you think that while they were taking this decision to create this killing of the Iranian guy in Damascus, in Syria, they didn't take under consideration this kind of reaction by Iran?
They already, from the announcement, it became clear that they didn't do it to the extent that would have been expected. And they didn't inform the Americans, which was also a very careless thing to do, because any Iranian reaction could also have an effect on Americans in the area. So they obviously were reckless when they took this decision.
Do you think that taking same kind of action towards the children and the grandchildren of Isma Ania, one of the leaders of Hamas ISIS, that is based in Qatar, is something that was worthwhile, or also endangers the ability to bring back the hostages?
No, first of all, it obviously wasn't thought through, and the military ranks that decided on it were relatively low ranks. It wasn't thought through because it surely can have an impact on the hostage situation. And it was really something that should have been deliberated at a much higher echelon, and should also been brought to the attention of the political echelon, which it apparently wasn't. So we see here that the army is losing its touch, and this is like a breakup of military discipline. We also saw that in the killing of the humanitarian workers. So we can see that the army isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and it's not sticking to the rules.
Why do you think basically it's happening?
I think basically the main reason is that the political echelon, the government, is not setting clear goals for the army to operate. Okay, the goals are always shifting. It is clear that the Americans are telling us what to do or what not to do. It's clear that the government is not setting clear, achievable aims for the war effort, and that has an impact on the army, which is looking for something to do, and is not being told what to do. So things happen.
So total victory of the Israeli army against Hamas, maybe after Rafah, will never happen?
No, it won't happen. There won't be something. There'll be something that we will be able to declare as victory, but it definitely won't be total, not anymore. Because Rafah, in general, the idea to whether Rafah will happen at all is very much in doubt.
And what about the kidnaps? The Israelis that are there almost...
it's almost certain, in my view, that we will not be able to get them back. The way the government is acting, it has been acting. It's clear that they're not really interested in getting them back.
Wow!
They just don't say it. Okay, but that's not the way. They're not acting as if we really want to get the hostages back.
How would you describe it throughout the actions and the negotiation, because the head of the Israeli Mossad was there, and Major General Alon was with him. And what would you emphasize?
I think they're trying to show that there is activity, but they're not making a real effort to make it calm, to make it successful.
So you think that they might all die
yes.
there?
Yes. We can see already that the numbers are going down of them being alive. Less and less are the numbers are getting smaller, and we have to take into consideration that they're all going to be dead, as sad as that may be.
And do you think that today, if you would recommend something to the Israeli government regarding that, what would you recommend them?
To get them back.
They're saying we're not going to stop the war.
Stop the war. You're going to have to stop the war anyway. Okay, the war is completely, what's happening now is completely counterproductive. Okay, it's not giving any benefit, not vis-a-vis Hamas, not vis-a-vis the hostages, not vis-a-vis any other, not vis-a-vis our allies abroad. Okay, this war is done. Okay, it's time to shut it down.
What about responding to the 300 missiles of Iran?
The more minor the response, the better. The more minor the response, the better, because any response which will cause serious damage will cause another reaction from Iran, and then we'll have a ping pong, and the war in the area will become a regional war, as if it's not already, but it'll become a bigger regional war with all that entails. And that's a big danger to Israel.
Do you think that World War III, basically, without being declared, is already happening?
It's showing its initial signs. Let's call it like that. But we trust the government of Israel that they can make it happen, which I hope they don't.
And do you think that what kind of minor feedback should be done by the Israeli army or the Israeli government towards what happened in Iran, for instance?
Something that it's possible for the Iranians to say it didn't happen or it didn't do anything or something like that. Something which is really minor. Okay, something maybe with just showing that we were able to go there or something like that. That's, some sign of we were here, having some cyber attack which shows on an electronic notice board, have a nice weekend or something like that from Israel. Something which signifies that we can go there if we want to, but doesn't cause real damage, because there's no need to.
And that Israel chose not to cause this damage.
Exactly.
You're talking about the holiday, the Pesach holiday is about to come, and there are so many Israeli refugees from the north, from the western part of the Negev. Do you think that they might go home soon?
I sure hope so. They should be able to go home before the school year starts in September. But the way the government is acting until now, I don't think that's going to happen, because the government isn't making the right decisions.
Why? They decided that they want to pass billions of shekels.
They're just not capable. It's just an incapable government. The prime minister is not doing what he's supposed to do. The Knesset is not doing what it's supposed to do, and the people who are suffering are those who had to leave their houses in the north and in the south too.
What about the settlers in the West Bank?
The settlers are rampaging in the West Bank, which is another front which opened up and which is already causing a lot of damage and also casualties on both sides. But more Palestinians die, of course, and have been dying for the last weeks. And we have to get hold of it. This is also part the army's fault, which doesn't apply enough force to keep the settlers in check.
Do you think it can be done, or basically Israel lost the ability to manage the?
It can be done, but this government has lost its ability to manage. I'm not sure that this government is capable of doing it.
Do you think that it endangers also the Israeli government in any way, the Jewish people in the diaspora?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, what happens in Israel reflects on the Jews everywhere, and the fact that Israel is inviting enemy action from all sides also reflects on Jews and impacts Jews all over, who suffer from anti-Semitism and also from terror attacks. And whatever happens here has a direct impact on the Jews everywhere.
Emanuel Shahaf, towards the end of this interview, as always, some happy, good news that you are going to reveal from somewhere in the Middle East, please.
Well, our book about the proposed shared sovereignty as a vision for peace in the Middle East will be out probably towards the end of the year. I'll get to see the first draft in a few weeks, and then you just have to follow the book, and everything will be okay.
To create this
peace, yes.
Wow! Using the accurate word, peace, shalom. During these days, it's a word that is almost cannot be used.
It's not used.
Emanuel Shahaf, people that want to be part of the community, of the federation, of you, of the first book, the second book, how you can be reached? On
Facebook, Emanuel Shahaf, or Identity, the Quest for Israel's Future, or the Federation Movement.
Emanuel Shahaf, I want to thank you very much, and greet you also with gratitude of shalom.
Shalom, shalom.